my soul, everything that I know says I gotta go, tired of going solo. But I'm never gonna go there again. This is what it is, this is who I am, this is where I finally take my stand. I didn't wanna fall, but I don't have to crawl. I'm just the one with two star hands, giving him the best of everything that's left of. The life inside this man, I've been born again.
All right, hopefully this time we got it. Eddie Huff, Dave Van Risingham, or as you might know us, two guys with headphones on a Friday afternoon. Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
It's been a week. This is a fast week. This week seems to have just flown by. And today as well, you called me thinking you were running late, and I looked up at the clock and did not realize how late it was. I'm busy doing my insurance work and trying to get stuff finished up. And
hey, at least we're making some money this week.
Speak for yourself.
Oh,
mine was just work. I don't make any money. I just
were earning your money this week.
Yeah, I was earning. Yeah, that's it. I wasn't making it. I was just earning. I was actually earning it today. Yeah. That's so funny. Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to Fresh Black Coffee.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of coffee today, man. I'm probably more than I should. But yeah. Oh, by the way, you know, I have to bring this up because I like this stuff. I don't know if any of you have tasted this Coke coffee.
No.
Yeah, Coke has this. I don't know if they still have it or not, but I was getting it at Quick Trip. Quick Trip is a convenience store gas station that's it started here in Oklahoma, actually in Tulsa.
Yep.
And now it's all over a lot of places.
They select cities.
Yeah.
And when they go into a city, they own it.
Yeah, they do.
I remember they went to Kansas City and owned it. They became a bigger market than Tulsa. Then Atlanta,
Dallas, Phoenix.
Yep, but
they're all
Oklahoma City.
They're all the way over on the East Coast.
They wouldn't go into Oklahoma City.
Well, no, I found out about that. What happened, they had an agreement way back with 7-Eleven. That's why we don't have any 7-Elevens here. Have you ever noticed that? There's no 7-Elevens in Tulsa?
Actually, what I heard was a mentor to the guys that started Quick Trip was actually the folks who ran Love's Truck Stops.
Really?
And it was, because Love's was pretty big over there.
See, Love's, that's another, I love me some Love's.
Yeah, when you're on the road, there you go.
And Love's now has another franchise, which is probably my favorite chicken in America.
Really? Tell me.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, I can't think of the name of it. No, it's Chester's.
Oh, sure.
Chester's chicken. Have you had Chester's?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
If you have not had a Chester's chicken, and it's not just the chicken, they have stuff that I've never seen. They have they bake a potato. They have baked potatoes, and they cut them into wedges.
Yeah.
Then they deep fry them like chicken fried potato wedges. They'll take a baked potato, cut into these long wedges, and then they put them in chicken batter.
Yeah.
And they fry those.
Yep.
And now here's the killer. This is a real killer. Corn.
Ah.
Corn on the cob. They take corn cobs.
And batter fry it.
Batter fry it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. State fair time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every day.
Yeah.
So
it's a reason to go on a road trip, to go to a Love's Truck Stop.
Yeah, here's what's weird. If you go to Dallas, between here and Dallas, you got a Toka, and they have a Love's they have a Chester's in the Love's in a Toka.
Yep.
You go another, 20 miles to, what is the last town?
Is that Durant?
Durant.
Yeah.
Durant, right on the border.
Yep.
There's another Love's and another Chester's right there already.
Nice.
I had a friend of mine start a franchise. Now, he's from a foreign country, and he didn't really know how to run chicken business.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an Asian type of country. And he just never would listen to the way Chester's management was trying to tell him to run it. He was going to do it his way, his way from his country.
Mm-hmm.
I won't tell you where it's from, but there's a certain tiger that is named after the front end of the name of the country.
Okay.
So, anyway, so that's the country he comes from, and he seemed to know better than the people who have been doing this successfully for many years.
Yeah.
But here's what's funny too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
To start a McDonald's franchise,
mm-hmm.
a Dunkin' Donuts franchise,
mm-hmm.
a Whataburger franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Take a franchise.
Yep.
You're looking at 100 to many hundreds of thousands of dollars franchise fee. How much do you think it is for a Chester's Chicken franchise?
Boy, I don't know.
Take a guess.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you gotta at least do 50,000. I would say at least
$2,500.
Oh my goodness, folks, come on! You know what? Maybe that's why the guy went out of business. He didn't pay enough, so he didn't value it, so he didn't try hard.
That could be.
You know,
yeah, it's a very low franchise fee. Now, that's not all it's about. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, you have about a $20,000
mm-hmm.
equipment.
Yeah, you do.
You know, the fryers.
Oh, yeah.
The fryers,
and, you know,
the equipment, and then you buy these TV screens, you know, the monitors that you look up for your ordering, and it changes the price.
The insurance you pay on having a deep fryer, the liability insurance.
Right. But you
goodness.
still pay all of that in addition to your normal franchise fee with the others.
Yeah, I know.
And that's just a franchise fee.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're going to open a normal other franchise, just imagine the money you have to make to make your money back before you ever make any money. So a Chester's, now, these people are very smart. I'm giving you business tips here. This is something, to me, this is one of the greatest opportunities I've ever seen. And not only that, it's some of the greatest food that you could ever get too. I mean, I don't know anybody that has tasted Chester's chicken that doesn't like it. But let me finish the whole, because I'm easily distracted.
Eddie's got a point he's getting at.
Yeah. So the thing is, you've got a low cost to get this thing started, but they're very smart. Here's how smart they are. Because I asked the lady, because I was actually the one who got this franchise going in this guy's gas station. It's a gas station he had that he put this in, and so I wanted to get one in Tulsa and just set up a Chester's Chicken. And I was always wondering, why don't you just set up a Chester's Chicken? Mm-hmm. And what I was told was that the overhead on a chicken place, just running one normally by itself, the rent for your facility, right, to lease a building and the utilities and everything is so large that, and the insurance just for that and everything, that it's almost cost prohibitive. You have to make so much money on selling your product that it's very hard to do it. Yeah. So what Chester's does, they honestly, I've never seen a place that's that concerned about you succeeding, because they value your success. Yeah. They succeed when you succeed.
Sure.
And so what they want to do, they like you to have, say, a gas filling station where you're already...
You already got traffic.
You got traffic. You're already making money through your gas and all of the convenience store items. And then you have the food. Yep. And so you don't have, your overhead is already covered with everything else, so your profit basically comes from your food. Yep. And I thought, man, what a model. What a model. It's a perfect model. So that's what it's so there are not many of those around that have that same model.
Another really low franchise fee one, and this is things have been retold to me. So if I'm incorrect, somebody comment on it here. When I first came to Tulsa 42 years ago, there were Daylight Donuts everywhere.
Yeah.
And from what I heard is when they first started, to get your franchise, you just had to buy your donut supplies from them. Mm-hmm. As long as you bought from them, you got to use their name.
Yeah, and it's the same with Chester's.
Yeah.
You buy.
No, a funny story. You've been to D.C., Washington, D.C. Ever been to Union Station there? Down in the basement? The food court down in the basement Union Station's amazing.
Yeah.
They had like 50 restaurants. It's a lot like Woodland Hills Mall here, but 10 times bukus. And they would give out a franchise to a specific type of food. Like, they would, so many Chinese. One was Mandarin. One was Szechuan. One was Cantonese, right? But they would mix them so they weren't all together. So you had variety going all the way around the circle there of the food court. And evidently, the folks that had the franchise, the booth there for New Orleans food, somehow couldn't make it. But there's something about people who run Chinese restaurants. They're good at running Chinese restaurants. Mm-hmm. So the guy next door who had the Mandarin Chinese, deal, he decided he wanted to get that New Orleans one. The problem was he had to come up with New Orleans recipes. And so I got there with my kids, my wife, the little kids, and he's giving free samples. Bourbon chicken, come get it. Not spicy. He's giving free samples. And you taste that bourbon chicken, it tastes just like that Mandarin chicken.
Yeah, that's the problem. When you in fact, in Broken Arrow, I mentioned the name. I don't know if I can keep going. Anyway, I won't name the name of the chicken place, but there's a certain chicken place in Broken Arrow. So that gets me out of the eye. So, but it's run by a guy from India or Pakistan, one of those countries. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't taste like Church's chicken. Yep. Now if you go over at 31st Street, in fact, it's funny. If you want the finest foods, okay, if you want the right food, if you want the food right, you got black people cooking it, and you've got Mexicans serving it.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, you've got to be sure everyone is operating in their gift.
Okay.
Right? So, you got to operate in your gift. You got black people fixing the food. Okay. You got Mexicans serving it and dishing it out and dealing with the people.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep. Now, there was a big challenge a couple years ago. Who had the best chicken sandwich? Was it Chick-fil-A or was it Popeyes? Did you try both?
It was Popeyes.
You're Popeyes.
Popeyes. Well, actually, okay. There's a place here in town, downtown. It's called Chicken and the Wolf.
Oh.
Have you ever eaten there?
No. Tell me, do you know what corner it's on?
It's not. There's an indoor food court. It's just a big building, and there's a bunch of restaurants inside.
It's inside the interdispersal loop, downtown.
No, it's on 12th and Lewis.
Oh yes, that's right. Real close to 11th and Lewis,
right?
Which is kind of you got to stop there if you're doing the Mother Road tour of Route 66.
Right.
Yes.
In fact, it's called Mother Road's Market.
Yes.
It's Mother Road's Market.
Yeah.
They've got you name it. They've got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's called Chicken and the Wolf, and it's called Nashville Chicken is what
okay.
Nashville Chicken apparently is very hot.
Yeah.
Okay. But Chicken and the Wolf, I'll tell you what, it's hot.
Yeah.
It is hot.
Oh. See, I'm not a spicy guy. I grew up too close to
The mild is as hot as Popeyes and everybody else's.
See, that's my problem down here is I was born and raised too close to Canada. I don't do spicy.
I mean, it will burn. In fact, they have mild, medium, and hot. And they have a description by this. And when it gets to hot, with the description by hot, it says, you will have a bad day tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, God. So don't say we didn't tell you so.
But here's what's bad. They used to have wings and legs,
Mhm.
but now they're down. I guess there's a chicken shortage
Yeah.
because they're not doing legs or wings anymore. Now
No.
it's just a sandwich.
Yeah.
I can't hardly tell. My mouth is watering. This is bad. My mouth. I want some chicken. I want some hot chicken. No, but no, it's called Chicken and the Wolf. They've
At
got
the Mother
actually,
Road Market.
Yeah, well, they have 2 locations now. Apparently, there's another location in Tulsa. So that's
All right.
how well they were doing. Yeah,
We'll find that out.
so it's good.
Can
And,
I give my review on that Popeyes versus chicken?
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A. I've eaten a few of the
you've
Popeyes.
eaten?
I've eaten, excuse me, a few of them. They've not been consistently the same.
Which ones?
The Popeyes.
Really?
And the customer service at Popeyes was crap.
Okay.
I'm talking 71st near Riverside,
Yeah.
that Popeyes.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You have not eaten at the right Popeye
Okay, what's the right one, Joe?
up in North Tulsa.
Oh, okay.
Again, like what I tell you. What did I tell you? Who's fixing the chicken?
The black folks.
Black folks.
Yeah.
You go to North Tulsa. So you go to North Tulsa. The black folks. If you go
Yeah.
down to Bixby and have it.
Okay, but I'm telling you, it was all black folks working at the Popeyes on
Really?
71st. And yeah.
That's unusual.
And,
Yeah.
and they treated me like, they were doing me a favor talking to me.
Oh, well, that might be.
Hey, see, I didn't have the
that
Mexicans
might be
at
the
the front
problem.
counter.
Yeah, well, see. See? What am I telling you?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Right.
If you go to the one up north,
But
it's black folks cooking it, Mexicans serving it.
But there is no customer service in fast food as good as Chick-fil-A.
Oh, no, what? Yeah, if we're talking customer service, for sure. Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, since we're speaking of food, this is fresh black coffee and chicken today.
Yeah.
Fresh hot chicken. I'll tell you, when you're talking hot, though, see, I didn't realize. I used to think Louisiana was hot, right? The South. I grew up. My dad was from Mississippi, and black folks hot. And then I moved to Texas, and Mexican food was hot. Moroccan. I was in Morocco, and that was hot. But I think I have to give it to the Koreans.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Korean food is hot. I don't know if you've had Korean hot food.
I think I have a couple of
You're
times.
talking
I
about
don't
Korean
think I finished
barbecue
it.
and Korean, yeah.
Yeah, Korean barbecue is like kicking, man.
And I'm really into lately these Korean noodles. In fact, I'm tempted to get up and I have them in my drawer.
Oh, he's got a stash.
But they have the stuff you put in there, and trust me, people, it's hot.
Yeah. So folks going down to the Red River Shootout, the OU Texas game, have 2 chances to get Chester's.
That's true.
Atoka and Durant.
Atoka, and I think the lady who helped set up the one there down in Beggs is where the one was. I think there may be one in what's the town? Henrietta. I think Henrietta may have one now.
Yeah.
So maybe, but yeah, when you go by a Love's, just they usually have the little sign.
Yeah.
And it might say Chester's. If you see a Chester's, if you don't like fried chicken or whatever, please do yourself a favor. Try the corn.
Yeah. Now you were talking
fried corn.
Right. And then you were talking about the potato wedges.
And the
deep
potato
fried.
wedges.
Now, Minnesota has got something that I've not seen down here. It's called potato skins. You take a russet potato, cut it in half, and then you take this kind of a scoop and you scoop it out so it's a boat, okay? So you got about maybe 3/8 to 1/2 inch of potato still inside that skin. You deep fry that. Then you pour some hot cheddar cheese and bacon on it. And I'm telling you, that's potato skins. That's a Minnesota thing. But not spicy, because we're Minnesotans.
Yeah, Minnesota wimps. Minnesota wimps. No,
we like bacon.
You're right. Actually, that sounds good, too.
It
but
is.
What do you do with the stuff you scoop out?
Oh, that goes to the other people for the mashed potato customers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
there you go.
hopefully we have.
God, I'm hungry.
I know, I'm getting that. I'm having to try to clear my palate or keep from salivating all over the mic here. Yeah. No, seriously though, there's some good food out there, and you know, I'm a German. I grew up with German food, and I've learned to appreciate some good Asian food, some even African. I was on a call the day before yesterday, and ran into a Ugandan lady on there, and it was a networking call, and somehow I ended up in this chat room with this Ugandan business lady, and I was able to surprise her by knowing this particular food that they eat in Uganda. It's called matoke.
Okay.
And it's a whole different. It's like a plantain banana.
Yep.
But the way they cook it, it's baked. It tastes like potato to me.
Yeah.
Tastes like a baked potato kind of, but a little different. And I learned to start loving that.
They're now making
when I was in Uganda.
They're making something similar to potato chips, but it's deep fried
banana
plantain
chips.
slice.
Plantain chips. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really, plantains are very much like potatoes, and when this was mashed, and they steam it, but they cook it over actual fire all day. These ladies mash it, and they cook it in banana leaves. They peel the bananas and cook the raw bananas, the green bananas, and put them in these leaves, and then they cook them over an open fire, and they like boils them or steams them, and then they mash them, and you eat them with the stew and meat.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We gotta
get off the food. Yeah, we got. It's late in the afternoon too.
That's right.
All right, everybody.
We're doing a Friday afternoon edition.
It's time to get down to the stuff. Yeah. Hey, I want to start with something that the president did. As many of you know, we seem to be inching more and more precariously close to World War III. I mean, I think anybody that has their eyes open realizes that we're in serious times.
Yeah.
Christians especially, I think, I don't know if fear is the right word, because as Christians, it's something we don't really fear. We're cognizant of it, that at some point, Armageddon is a very real possibility, okay? And I think we've all been looking at the wrong place and in the wrong way, possibly. And I remember in the 70s, in like 1973, Yom Kippur War. That. But we were expecting it all to happen a certain way, but it's very possible it's going to happen.
My dad was so sure that Henry Kissinger was the Antichrist.
yeah. And
but he's still alive, so he still could be.
Yeah, he still could. Yeah, could be. Yeah. And but even the president of the United States has stepped in it again. He made a comment, and the White House, his advisors and his people around him are trying to kind of put down his comment where he said that there's no indication that Russia is preparing for Armageddon. So he alluded to Armageddon because the Russians are moving nuclear warheads now around in the seas, in the Black Sea, in the Mediterranean, apparently, from what I heard this morning, even into the Atlantic Ocean. So I don't understand what's wrong with our media. I really don't understand it. How they can so blindly sit by and ignore a clear and present danger that this administration is leading our nation and the world into. I do see signs that it's starting to crack. in Europe in particular, I'm starting to see European nations that are waking up because they realize they're the first ones to get it.
Sure.
And so you're starting to see some people break with the pack.
Yeah, the globalist pack.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're starting to realize and say, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This has got to stop.
Yeah.
And even in Canada, you've got some of the ministers of parliament that are saying, this is crazy. This has got to stop.
Yep.
It's everyone seems to want to attack Tucker Carlson because Tucker has been one of the ones in America that has been saying that our government is out of their mind and leading us into World War III. And anybody that is following Tucker seems to be under attack for being treasonous or crazy for saying that, when at the same time they want to say Putin is crazy. Well, wait a minute. Who's crazy? So if Putin is crazy and we're poking a crazy man,
you tell me who's crazier.
Yeah, and then so we're crazy for saying that you're crazy for poking a crazy man, yet we're the ones who are crazy. It's kind of weird. It's like seeing somebody at the zoo sticking their hands through the say, and they're telling the guy who's saying, look at that crazy person over there. And the person calling him crazy is the one who's crazy.
But panda bears are so cute.
Yeah, they're so cute. And that's kind of what it reminds me of when this person is sounding the alarm that something is not right here.
Yeah.
So all I can do is pray and sound the alarm with others to say something has to change.
Yeah.
Something has got to change, and I pray that in 3 weeks from now, or a month from now, that we have a change. And I do pray that even with that, because the Republicans don't seem to be awake yet. They seem to think that it's their job to still be the hawks. That it's their job to also say, yes, we've got to stop the bear, the Russian bear. No, that's not your job. Your job is to protect the United States of America from all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's your job. Your job is not to be worrying about Ukraine. Your job is not to be worrying about Germany, okay? Because Germany definitely is not worried about us, okay? They're not worried about us. Germany's not worried about Ukraine. Germany is worried about Deutschland. That's all they're worried about, the Germans, okay? So we need to be, and that's the other thing that just drives me nuts. They have, back to the issue of nationalism. People, that's what just drives me nuts about Democrats, okay? They have so destroyed the meaning of words. The term nationalist, they've made nationalist a dirty word.
Yeah.
Nationalist means nothing more than caring for your nation.
Yeah, it's akin to being a patriot. You're for your people, your nation, your flag.
It's like taking care of your family.
Yeah.
In fact, nowadays, even that is a dirty word, right?
Yeah.
To care about your family is a dirty word. Why? Why is it bad to care about your family? It should not be that way.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, Dave. It just gets me.
Yeah. No, well, they are all competition against the state. And, and in this situation, the globalist agenda that Klaus, what's his name, and, that whole bunch over there, World Economic Forum, I mean, you've already got plenty of U.S. politicians go into that. You've got Justin Trudeau is a big part of it. It's a globalist agenda. And it's going on. And I agree with you. There is cracks. I mean, Italy, hello. What a breath of fresh air.
Oh, my
Thank
goodness,
God.
yeah.
And you've been talking about how Hungary is saying we're having none of it.
Brazil?
Yeah, Brazil now, they're still, they're in the middle of an election that's going to run off.
I know. We can only hope and pray that he wins.
Yeah. So, and I think within 3 months, the number one global topic will be the energy shortage. And still, Biden won't meet with U.S. energy producers.
Yeah. See, yeah.
He runs over there to OPEC.
Yeah.
And now they've said, yeah, we'll cut $1 billion now, just to spite them. And now today they announced, no, it's $2 billion. We're going to drop production. They're going to ramp
2 million barrels a day.
Barrels per day.
My question, though, is what happened to our system of separation of powers and the power of Congress versus the power of the administration?
Mm-hmm.
The executive, you've got the executive branch, the congressional legislative branch, and the judicial. It's like, here's what's funny. Okay, think about this. Okay, when Donald Trump or George W. Bush were president,
mm-hmm.
all the power seemed to be in the legislative branch,
mm-hmm.
right? All of a sudden, when it's Clinton, Obama, or Biden, it's all in the executive branch. All of a sudden, the legislative branch doesn't have any power anymore.
Well, they capitulated early on. Remember when Obama first became president, he had both houses of Congress. In fact, he had a supermajority, 60%, 60 senators. And now Biden comes in, has that same thing. So we're about to see what a divided government is. The problem is to undo what the Democrats did in the first 2 years, just like the first 2 years of Obama, is you got to take over both the House and Senate and the White House. And remember when Trump did that, and what the promise was, we're going to end Obamacare on day one. And they never did. Because they couldn't get enough Republicans.
Right. Well, that's it. But Bush, I think in Bush's first term, he had that.
Yes, he did.
And it was still the same thing.
Well, 9/11 just kind of sucked all the agenda out of the room.
Well, I think, though, that Bush, I think we really never saw him for who he really was
Mm-hmm.
that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It took Trump to finally let us see what we
because
really
Bush
had.
is a neocon, and of course having Cheney in there with him is like they never met a war they didn't love, And
well, it wasn't even the war. I honestly I don't have a big problem with the Iran deal. I mean the Iraq deal is not that big of an issue with me. Again, to me, I'm more concerned about what happens here. In fact, I think, in retrospect, that was one of the biggest failing of the Bush-Cheney administration, and maybe even the Ronald Reagan administration. That our eyes were fixated. For example, Ronald Reagan. What is he known for as his greatest achievement?
Ronald Reagan? Yeah. Well, you'd say he was the architect of the end of the Soviet Empire.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, right? George W. Bush, Iraq, right? All of everything. In the meantime, Democrats were working internally, domestically, reshaping what's happening here.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I think... So the first person to really say, wait a minute, forget about that out there. Mm-hmm. We've got to take care of business here.
Yeah.
That was Donald J. Trump.
Yeah. My thing is, maybe the best thing would have been when you're dealing with terrorists when you're dealing with those trying to subvert U.S., interests, bomb the heck out of them, topple them, and quit trying to nation build. We spent, what did we spend? Maybe, 16 months taking down those in power, but then we spent 16 years trying to turn them into versions of us.
Right.
And listen, their culture's different than ours.
Right.
And we try to impose our Western culture on them.
Mm-hmm. We should have gone in, basically bombed, and gone through Iraq,
clean up the mess,
Afghanistan. Like I remember with Pat Campbell, when I was on the show, my suggestion was we start at however many troops it took. We start at one end of Afghanistan, and we go through the country, wipe out as many Al Qaeda, Taliban as it takes. Okay, and then go home.
Yeah, let them clean it up. And that's a problem.
Like Vietnam, it started in Vietnam.
Yeah, we won every battle, still lost the war.
Right. We just say we lost. We let the what used to be called peaceniks.
Yeah.
But the pacifists, we wanted to be the good guys. We wanted to fight a good war. We didn't want to hurt anyone. We didn't want to be seen as bloodthirsty, ugly Americans. You're still ugly Americans.
Let me tap into your years with YWAM, because you were one of the early YWAM leaders. When you went in there to preach Jesus, you had to be careful to separate it from American culture, right? Because you weren't trying to teach them politics. You weren't trying to make them versions of our society. In fact, my son, as a YWAM person, he goes in, he said the hardest thing he had to do in Russia, down in the Caucasus Mountains, where they're mostly Muslims in there, they associated Christianity with Moscow, with the Russian Orthodox Church. And they didn't want anything to do with Moscow. And his job was to say, no, Jesus was not a communist. He was not a Soviet operative. Jesus, is, and so, kind of reintroduce him. He says it was a real challenge.
Yeah, we were in North Africa.
Yeah.
Where we ran to all the Muslims in Morocco, Algiers. And there, they don't think of Christians as Christians like we do. Any European American, they're all Christians. You're either Muslim or you're Christian.
Yeah.
And so they don't identify you by your faith. They identify you as a Christian if you're not a Muslim.
Yeah.
So, basically that's what it is. And so that's the way they think. It's more of a culture. You can be a girl. In other words, you had girls over there, not the YWAMers, but you had a lot of European girls that were half naked or, doing stuff over there, all kinds of crazy stuff. And they were still considered Christian. They didn't call them European girls. They were Christian girls. Yeah. Because they were not the Muslim girls.
Yeah, and they wouldn't wear the hijab. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's how they identify. The only other thing would be Jewish. You're either Muslim, Jewish, or Christian.
Yeah.
And they hated the Jews. They had disdain for the Christians, and then Muslims you had to toe the line. So yeah, that's how it went. But it's funny because now when I went to Africa, then it was different. Especially as a Black American, the Africans, like I remember we're in customs, and if the Africans found, like we're the whole group, but if they heard me talking or saw me in the group they would go grab me and walk me through and have me go through without going through customs.
Oh, okay.
So I was actually special.
Black privilege, even in Africa.
Exactly, right. And then they want to start talking to me, about Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. No, I'm saying.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. They were just totally enamored by American culture.
Yeah.
And, especially black Americans. This is what always gets me too, that black Americans don't realize how they're seen around the world.
Yeah.
By other black people.
They're living the life over here.
Yeah, exactly. And they want to come, and then they get over here because they don't ever see the ghetto. Mm-hmm. They don't ever see the black people living in slums and in poverty and welfare and et cetera, et cetera. They don't see that part. They see the athletes, the actors, the entertainers, the hip hop artists, et cetera. And that's what they want to be. Yeah. And that's starting to affect the third world in a bad way. So these are some of the things that we have to deal with in there, and it's just it's sad. To me, really, it's sad because I've seen in Uganda, for example, it's really destroying the country, and it's not just Uganda. I know it's in Tanzania, Congo, any African nation. Yeah. It's starting to destroy because the innocence I saw, as deprived as they were, as lowly as they were, as poor as they were back in the 80s, in the early 80s, there was an innocence, and it was nicer after all of the slaughter of Idi Amin and Obote and all the evil leadership they had. It was still nicer than the corruption and the greed and the covetousness that I see them trying to emulate America. Yeah. What they see, and they're not, and what they're emulating is American hip hop culture. Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine an entire nation copying hip hop culture? Yeah. They're not trying to copy American society. They're trying to copy, as an entire nation, they're trying to copy hip-hop culture. Yeah. That's a recipe for total disaster.
And I always say, during the Cold War, it was American culture that the Russian people, when they got a glimpse of it, they wanted Levi jeans, right? They wanted that, West. But I don't think the people of Russia want to embrace the decadent Western culture that we're seeing now. Right. And you know what? I'm with them. I'm glad they don't have that. Especially some of the Baltic states. I've been studying the cultures there in Lithuania and Latvia and Estonia, and that they kind of have the best of both worlds because they are having none of the Western culture, but yet they have the free enterprise. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, you look at Hungary. Yeah, is a prime example.
That would be another one. No,
but even Russia. I mean, it's the craziest thing that I've seen. That Putin, okay, it's like there, and I know people are going to think I'm nuts and saying crazy things here, but honestly, in some ways, I see Putin. I think let me preface by saying I believe he's a ruthless killer. Okay, okay. He's cold-blooded. He's callous, but in other areas, I see culturally almost more of a Christian foundation that he's trying to set than we see here. It's the weird dichotomy. It's like he's trying to artificially, in a man-made sense, create a Christian society in a secular does it make sense to you?
Oh, the traditions of the people, of who they are, where they come from, he's hanging on to that. Whereas here, our leftists are trying to overthrow all of it. including redoing U.S. history in the 1619 Project
Right.
and everything, and saying, remember that scene in the movie Red Dawn where a bunch of the townspeople are fenced in out by the airport and they're listening to propaganda. It says America is a whorehouse, and it's basically trying to just to say, oh, we are lousy people. We have a lousy history. We're nothing. And they're trying to get you to turn away from that and embrace the New World Order. That's what's going on here. But I got to ask you, while we're talking about Putin, we're seeing video clips of a draft, conscription, forced conscription, and big time protests happening with that. Mm-hmm. It's not looking good.
No.
So I don't know. Is Putin getting desperate here? It
Well,
looks like
he
it.
probably is, but that's the problem. But we're taking a big gamble because what will the desperation do? Is the desperation going to bring him to his knees, or is the desperation going to create him?
Yeah, but I'm saying 3 months from now, if he holds on, he'll bring Europe to their knees.
That's
over
what I'm
energy.
saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's a good outcome. Mm-hmm. I mean that's the positive outcome if he brings Europe to its knees. Because if not, if they continue to push, he'll bring it to a smoldering ruin.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine Berlin, Munich, Nuremberg, Frankfurt, Hamburg burning cinders, London, Paris,
Yeah.
Rome,
Millions dead, millions more
New York,
with radiation.
Philadelphia, D.C.
Yeah.
Well, you saw, you probably heard on the news about the Biden administration now buying millions of anti-radiation
Oh God.
pills.
Yeah.
You saw that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you haven't. Oh, yeah, that's in the news. Yeah. I don't think I didn't print that out. But yeah, they what do they call those? It's a certain pill.
Is it iodine or something like that?
Yeah, I think something. But anyway, yeah, millions of them. Yeah, of these pills. And so, they're doing all kinds of things that are giving a signal here in our country that they're prepared. And who do you think? I mean, do you think they're worried? Because, they've got bunkers. They probably, all of the movies that you've seen where they're going to, like an Ark, where they protect all of the richest people, the important people. I mean, I'll be honest. I honestly would not be surprised if they don't already have a plan where they've already chosen who, there's a list of the most important people in the world, and they already know where they're going to keep them and protect them. And this is a way of cleaning, the undesirables out. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I know this is
with
conspiracy
Putin,
theory stuff, but
with Putin, he is motivated by self-interest. He's not part of a globalist plot.
No. I know he's not.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the guys on our side.
Yeah.
That's where the globalists, Klaus, what's his name,
Yeah.
The World Economic Forum and that kind of thing. See, there are some devious people in this world. I mean, there are people who truly have only their self-interest, and everybody else are just pawns in that game, and they could care less. They think they can outlive everyone, and their children are going to be okay, and that will go on, and we'll get rid of the undesirables.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of, those who slavishly, bow down to the plantation owner, and that, Kanye West has been talking about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Ye, as he is now known, Ye, formerly known as Kanye West.
Yeah.
He was on Tucker Carlson last night, that was brought about by Candace Owen.
Mm-hmm.
Candace Owen has been friends with him.
Sure.
And they went to Paris to some fashion show, and Kanye, excuse me.
Yeah, he's still Kanye.
Yeah.
I don't play that.
Yeah,
Prince
yeah.
is still Prince, right?
You mean the artist formerly known?
Yeah. Don't play it. I'm dead naming him, okay? I'll do it.
Dead naming. He's come out with a shirt, and that shirt says "White Lives Matter."
Yes.
Man, it just started all kinds of stuff.
Yes, and Candace wore the same shirt.
Yeah, and the two of them, they were holding hands and walking, and yeah. And so Tucker, Tucker, if you've not been watching Tucker for the last month or two, you need to watch Tucker Carlson, because he's probably the most hated man in America by the left. I mean, they are after him.
And if you don't do Fox News, I'm telling you, he's on YouTube.
They put him on YouTube. His rant, the first 15 or 20 minutes, I call it his rant. But every night, the first 15 or 20 minutes, they have his monologue on, and it's always good stuff.
Oh,
it's very good. But he had Tony Bobulinski, who was Hunter Biden's business partner, who got shafted by him. He exposed some stuff that you can't even believe. I mean, you cannot even believe some of the shenanigans that the Bidens have pulled there. He had him on for a full hour, and Kanye, he had him on last night for a full hour, and almost a full hour. And then he's got him, part 2 is tonight. He's got him on again, and he's going to be talking some more, but
my son actually, helped out with Kanye's, kind of weak presidential campaign last time around. My oldest son, he's a huge fan of Kanye.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I've tried many times. I just can't stand the music. I just don't like.
I'm not.
But I do have to tell you. I think I told you when I came back from California, right? That I went to his.
Yeah,
Sunday
one of his
service.
worship services. Yeah.
And it was unbelievable. It was really good. But he wasn't involved. He walked around with his cell phone recording it.
Yep.
And it's on YouTube. You can find it. Now that was special. I mean, it was all a cappella, no instruments or anything, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was really incredible. The funny thing though, they had little kids. This is how Kanye is. You talk about suffer the little children. They had little kids running around screaming in the middle of this angelic, beautiful music that this choir was doing. And so the guy really is, he's a genius. I mean, musically, he's a genius.
He really is.
But he's so much of a genius that a lot of his music, I just can't relate. I don't like it. Somebody like your son likes it and appreciates it.
I saw the deal he did at Joel Osteen's church, the Sunday night service. It was a cantata, if you will. But yeah, and it was something that, the urban, black culture, I think, would embrace. And
you're just saying that because
no, it just sounded very much that style. I've been in, black churches that. Okay, maybe you have. Not Eddie's way. Eddie goes to church with Marilyn Manson. He won't tell you that. Was Marilyn sitting in front of you? Yes, he was. See? You didn't think I'd remember that.
That's funny, yeah. Marilyn Manson.
No,
I was sitting
Debbie and I
Marilyn.
Debbie and I were asked to be the children's pastors at an all-black church in Pasadena, California. They flew us out there, put us up for a week. They really wanted us there. They just didn't want to pay us anything. You try living in California.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, it's Kanye's got the guy's a genius.
I believe the man is a genius, and apparently he has to be, because the guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
He is,
right? So he's somebody. I mean, but I'm not worth it, so I'm definitely not a genius.
But he's got a very fragile mental health condition. I believe he's bipolar type 1.
Yeah, and he admits it. I mean, he knows he's. But I did get to meet him. I think I told you that.
No.
Oh yeah. So he and my daughter are friends.
Okay.
So and he
Yeah,
saw us with her, and
And speaking of that, now your daughter works as a pro-life activist, and Kanye said something last night. I saw it this morning. The clip is that the number one cause of death of black people in America is abortion.
yeah,
Number one.
yeah, before they're ever born.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. Especially in the major city, it's just the numbers are staggering.
Yeah, I think he was saying that about New York City specifically, but I think the numbers actually work out of black people.
Yeah, yeah.
They kill more of their own before they're born.
Before they're born, and then they keep working at it after they are born. I mean, it's tragic, but. Yeah, no, he's a very nice guy, and it was funny because, he's very humble, he's very quiet, and hello, how are you? There's nothing, So.
I was, as a mental health advocate, we put on a holiday party, Christmas party, that a number of people we focus on that have mental health struggles. We particularly make it so they feel comfortable. A lot of them, are very socially, because they've got all kinds of issues and stuff. And we put on a party where they're all going to feel like welcome to come. And so we're all enjoying a big potluck there. And I'm sitting around. It's mostly young adults that I happen to be around. And it was right after Kanye had his last meltdown during a tour in Europe. And I said, the cool thing about Kanye West is he gives you hope that even though you've got a chronic mental illness, there's a chance you could marry Kim Kardashian.
Oh, man.
They all got a kick out of it.
Yeah, the problem is I don't know if that's good news or bad news.
Yeah.
Who wants
but,
to?
But listen,
man.
I'm dealing with a bunch of people have such an inferiority complex about who they are in their place in society.
I see Kanye's situation a little different. I think his mental issues are truly from being a genius. In other words, I think there's so much stuff running through his mind. It's like, the old adage of trying to run a fire hose of water through a garden hose. And I think, because you could see it last night, he was trying to communicate to Tucker, but there was so much there. He was trying to get out in this little time that it was starting to scatter.
And that happens. And that's what the manic condition really is your overwork. Your brain is firing faster.
Exactly.
And in fact, you'll see it, people talking a million miles a minute or changing topics mid-sentence, and because their brain is just going. And that's what is also where they get their creativity.
Right.
I joke about lefties. You and I are both lefties. That we are, by and large, more creative than right-handers, but we have more mental illness than right-handers.
Yeah, my wife always gets on me because I'll start a subject. I may have done it in this time we've been on here. I'll be on a subject, and all of a sudden I leave it hanging, and I'm on another one. And I do that a lot.
Yeah.
I'll be talking about something, and I think, and then she mentions, I didn't finish that, because in my mind, I finished the topic, but apparently I didn't, because I was already on to the next.
Yeah, and see, people very close to me who suffer that same disorder, and that sometimes they'll start a conversation with me about the third sentence in. The first 2 or 3 sentences they were thinking, and somehow they think that I'm there with them.
Right, exactly.
And okay, little context here. I'm not following where we're going.
Exactly. That sounds like
let me back up.
You're supposed to know, Dave.
Yeah.
You're What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
But no, Kanye, especially as a marketing guy. Oh my goodness.
He has that creativity.
Yeah.
By the way, he's very little. He's a real short guy. He's only probably about 5'9". So it's kind of
about my height. I could be the next Kanye.
Yeah, you could be. Hey, a couple of things. Let's just switch. We'll switch real quick. There's my mind jumping. Hunter Biden. He is being investigated, or actually it looks like they may indict him now for tax evasion, money laundering, and gun violations.
Right.
So now there's two streams of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One is, they're finally going to get him on something. That's the one. The other one is they're going to throw these charges out there. Well, actually, there's three. They're going to throw these charges out there. It's going to be minor charges. They're going to give him some light sentence and then let it go. And then there's the third one that they are going to charge him and his dad's going to pardon him. So those are the three options. What do you think? Door number one, door number two, door number three.
Yeah. Well, I'll start out by saying this. The FBI is for the FBI first. Okay. If it helps the FBI, they will take down a Democrat as well as taking down all the Republicans they're taking down. Yeah. And if it helps them look more objective and fair and balanced, they will take down Hunter. But I don't think it'll happen in the next 4.5 weeks. Which we're 4.5 weeks from now.
No, I know it won't happen before the election. No.
But yeah, I think something's going to happen. Here's what I think Biden wants. President Biden, Dad, he wants him to plea bargain down to something.
Right.
And I don't think Hunter is going to roll over and take it for his dad. I don't think he's going to.
You heard it first.
Yeah.
David Van Risingham.
Yeah.
Hunter's not going to play ball.
Yeah, I heard that this morning. Brian Kilmeade's show, he had Geraldo Rivera on, and they kind of both agreed on that, and it made sense to me. We're seeing enough signs that Hunter is just not going to play ball for
with the
Dad.
big guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to play ball for the big guy.
I think because if you remember some of the conversations he's having with his daughter, he says, hey, at least I won't make you pay half to me like I'm having to do.
Right.
You know, and I think he somewhat despises his dad, how big a cut his dad gets out of this. Because Hunter, I think he feels like I did all the hustling.
Wow.
You know.
Woo, man, this makes Peyton Place look like nothing.
Yeah, so. Now that's just a couple of guys speculating.
Yeah.
But, you know, Geraldo's been pretty connected on this.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Wow. Okay. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
But it should be interesting to see what happens here. The one thing, it should take some attention off Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, no.
Either that or they'll
the opposite.
Pump it up big to take the attention off that, you think?
This gives them political cover to go after Trump.
I see.
See, they'll look like they're equal opportunity.
But they're not actually going after Joe. They're going after Hunter.
No, I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, the whole Justice Department needs to be mothballed.
Oh, yeah. Well, depending on the outcome of the elections, depending on what happens
I'm saying what it needs to happen, not whether it will.
Yeah.
But
now, if we can't take the House and Senate.
Let me just say this. It used to be Secret Service was under the Treasury. They had some problems there. They moved Secret Service over to the Justice Department. Okay? We had 9/11, and all of a sudden we created a whole new cabinet position called Homeland Security and took a lot of the authority that went to other agencies and moved it over to them. So this is not unprecedented to reshuffle how we structure the services of our federal government. Right. And I think we need to do it. In particular, my British sources say the MI5, MI6, they separate out the prosecutorial agency from the investigative agency, and that's where we have a problem here. The Justice Department gets to do both.
Yeah.
And they're too big for the
there's a problem. We definitely have a problem in the way our justice system is run, and too much authority in the one place, and too much of it is coming from the White House. And also, we got the problem that somehow, and I think it goes back to the Clintons. Do you remember, I will never forget this, how one of the first things, and I don't know how this happened, how Hillary could do this, because she was the first lady. She wasn't the president. But if you will remember, because I used to be an avid Rush Limbaugh listener. But in 1993, ditto head to the max.
Yeah.
But in 1993, right in the first 3 months, do you remember what Hillary did? Okay, I will remind you. She had them send over the FBI files.
Oh, 900 files.
900 files. And the other thing she did was fire. She got rid of a large number of FBI agents. And then they restocked, is what I will call it.
And she actually is the one that got to pick our attorney general.
That's what I'm saying. How
and
in
she
the
told
heck
Bill
did
it has to be a woman. And they got some district attorney from Florida, Janet Reno. A district attorney. Because they couldn't find it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. How in the world does Hillary Clinton, the first lady, get to have that much power to pick all of these? She must, I guess that was probably the deal she made with Bill over the Paula Jones and all of the other spoils. She said, I'll play ball, I'll stay quiet, you become president, but this is what you owe me. That might be the deal.
I think
she
it was
made.
the Jennifer Flowers thing. Remember that?
Well, yeah, but Paula Jones, remember, that was the big one.
Right, but you said what happened the first so many months of the presidency. Jennifer Flowers was already out there. Paula wasn't out there yet.
No, Paula was during the election. Paula Jones was before he got elected.
I did not remember her being that public. The Jennifer Flower things got really. That was the first.
That was
thing.
there too, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. You're right.
But anyway, I think that was the. I mean, I do remember that Jennifer Flower, and then there was the Catherine Willey.
Well, that was later on.
Yeah, that was later on. But we had all. I mean, that was just. There's so many of them,
Yeah, and just what we're talking about.
I hate to even bring them back up because
remember
really
the subpoenaed Whitewater billing files, and they found them in the presidential residence where only Bill and Hillary were.
Well, where did they find Hillary's computer?
I don't know.
In her closet.
Okay.
And it had all of the documents that.
Oh, you're talking about the 30,000 emails? Yeah, that was while she was working for Obama.
Right, in her closet. I mean, and then, I don't want to go there. We're not even going to go there because we'd spend on it.
And she's like untouchable. Oh, yeah, and she did have a grand jury testimony where she couldn't remember anything.
No, she didn't remember anything.
I don't recall.
Yeah, but let somebody from the Trump administration not recall, and we got to charge them with something on that. You're not allowed to not recall. Yeah. So anyway, Joe Brandon Biden, he's caught on the mic telling a guy there in Florida, says no one F's with a Biden. What do you think that means? I wonder what they were talking about. I mean, that's just kind of weird.
That's just Joe blustering.
No, I know, but I mean, what was what's missing here was the context.
Yeah.
In other words, what was he saying? Boy, you sure did get away with your so-and-so, with Hunter stuff, all that stuff. He said, nobody else.
Yeah, it was Biden. A local Democrat politician that he was talking to.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm trying to figure out what was the rest of the conversation that caused him to say nobody F's with a Biden. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Because it's one thing for him to say that, but if you have the context of what he was referring to, somebody effing with the Bidens, that would.
And by the way, he's down in Florida. He actually did a kind of a press junk with DeSantis, and everybody's mad at Joe. How could you let him speak behind the presidential seal? And I don't know. It's not that big a deal to me.
It's not.
But
I got to say this. They got nothing to criticize DeSantis for. And I want to say this, something about Florida governors. I remember when Jeb Bush was rumored in 2015 that he is going to run. In fact, he did run. I got to meet Jeb and talk to him, and stuff. Everybody I knew said this, Jeb was a very competent governor. And I want to say, I think DeSantis is a very competent governor. I think, Scott was a very competent governor. Something about Florida, they actually have good Republican governors. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just competent.
Right. I will say one caveat, give one caveat to that, and that was, the education system. Mm-hmm. That Mary Fallon tried to copy here.
Common Core. Jeb sucked into that.
Yeah, that's the one area. And I mean, I bought it for a while myself because I never really looked into it. It sounded good. They made it look good and sound good, and it wasn't what it was cracked up to be.
You know what Florida, though, does to lead the nation on, them and Texas, is charter schools.
Yeah.
They got rid of the monopoly. Yeah. And I got to say, I think that's a better legacy to Jeb than any Common Core thing is.
Yeah. Hey, here's an interesting one I want to get to here real quick. But Boston Children's Hospital says that children can know their transgender from the womb.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And yeah. So a child knows before it's born that it's transgender. Yeah, this is no joke. This is not Babylon
it's
B.
Amazing. Well, so they don't know whether or not they really should get a tattoo until they're 18, but they know they should whack off whatever God gave them incorrectly.
Exactly. So we might as well start letting them smoke and drink. I mean, at that point, if
get tattoos.
You get tattoos or whatever. Yeah. It says Boston Children's Hospital posted a video on their YouTube channel in August where a psychologist explains a good portion of children she sees at the hospital's gender multi-specialty service clinic know their gender identity from the womb.
Yeah.
Dr. Carrie McGregor goes on to say in the video that some children express their gender identity as soon as they can talk. They may say phrases like, I'm a girl, I'm a boy. This is just, I'm sorry, I can't keep it straight. That's like a kid say, I'm a cucumber. I don't know. They actually, this person has a job. Mm-hmm. That person should be fired immediately.
Yep.
Immediately. That they should be fired on the spot.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, oh man. Here's another good one. Professor Maitland Jones Jr., he taught organic chemistry at Princeton, another one of our great Ivy League institutions in America. For 4 decades, think of that. For almost 80 years, it was actually, man, can you believe that? For 4 decades? So that's 40 years, people, by the way, for you people in Jenks. It's 4 decades. at NYU. And then he ended up going to New York University. So, I mean, he was at Princeton. I think Princeton's here, New York U's here, right? So we're talking Princeton, New York University. But not according to the NYU people. So, but he was let go.
Yeah.
After 82 of his 350 students signed a petition blaming him for his class being too hard. They had poor test scores, and it was his fault. His test was too hard. I didn't pass chemistry because his test was too hard. It's not that I didn't study enough or I'm too dumb. that I couldn't get it. I shouldn't be a chemistry. Maybe I'm not cut out to be a scientist or a doctor or a biologist. No, that's not it. It was him. He made his test too hard, so you got to fire him. So basically, less than 1/4 of his students, right, 25%, less than 25% of his students sign a petition that he's too hard, and what happens? They fire the guy.
Jeez.
Can you believe that? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't even believe it. It's just, he says, and this other professor says, Dr. Wyman saw the problem as the commodification of education, where universities treated students like paying customers. And it's true. Mm-hmm. That sounds like one of those students, crying yes. baby.
We're hearing something out.
It's a crying baby out there.
Yeah.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's exactly right. Another professor says that commodification, where the university. And
by the way,
wait, let me. Maybe you're getting ready to hit this, because this comes kind of close to home. Sounds like OU.
Yeah.
Sounds like University of Oklahoma.
Well, I want to know, what do you know about this professor? Ethnicity. I'm talking, what do you call it? Intersectional stuff here. Is he white?
Well, the name sounds black.
Okay.
Maitland Jones Jr. You've got the computer. I'm sure you can look him up. I think I saw a picture that I'm pretty sure he's white.
Okay.
Especially chemistry teacher at Princeton.
Because remember, up in Minneapolis, they're doing layoffs at the school, and they're laying off the white folk.
Right. But, you know what? What's the giveaway? He was a chemistry teacher at Princeton for 40 years. I don't think they had any black chemistry teachers for 40 years at Princeton.
Yeah, I'm just
I would bet you that he's a white guy.
Yeah, because if he was a gay black man, I don't think they would have fired him.
No.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they wouldn't. Those students wouldn't have even dared raise their ugly heads. No.
Yeah, I've got an award I need to announce before the end of the show, by the way.
All right, so just keep it.
Yeah.
You always like to just throw stuff out there in the middle of other thoughts.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna hire somebody to just sit over there and bash you over the head.
See, it's my fault you can't finish a sentence, right?
Yes, it's your fault. That's right, it's your fault. The professor's Maitland once again says Wyman. I'm sorry, Professor Wyman says the professor said she had little. Wyman was a female, by the way. Said she said that she had little hope for the future of education if someone like Jones's reputation could be fired over something like this, which is, I mean, you talk about truth. That's a truth bomb. Yeah. If you can fire somebody because less than 1/4 of the students said his tests are too hard, then we're in deep doo-doo. And I think most of us have known this for a while, because that, honestly, it's ridiculous. That's just crazy. So anyway, hey, Dave, that's pretty much all I have for today.
Yeah, I've just got an award. Game warden Dylan King is our recipient of the Barney Fife League of Dedicated Lawmen. And you want to know why?
Why?
Because unlike most game warden who are out on the highways and byways protecting our fish and our wildlife, he's at swap meets in Oklahoma City and flea markets. And you know what he did to an artist at a flea market?
Yeah.
Confiscated his entire stock of artwork. And this is, I'm not kidding, Dean Summers lives up in the mountains and travels several states, and he goes to different shows, and he sells the remains of roadkill. Now, I'm talking their skull and maybe their antlers. Mm-hmm. And in Oklahoma, he ran into a statute that I had no idea was on our books. And it says that you cannot sell in Oklahoma, barter, trade, any wildlife unless you have documentation of everything, where it came from exactly. And I mean specific to hide. And so they took this guy's stuff and they cited him $340 The game warden did. Not the judge. Remember, the game warden said, I'm charging you this. Game warden playing judge. If he goes to court to fight this, he could get 60 days in jail because the statute gives up to that. The other thing is, remember how much we love asset forfeiture here? It's piracy, right?
That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah, they take all of his stock, and the statute says they are authorized to sell the stock and keep it for the game warden's agency. And by the way, I just found out Outdoor Oklahoma magazine, I thought it was some publisher. The Department of Wildlife, the game wardens, published that. It's state propaganda by the game wardens, praising the game wardens and saying how important the game wardens are. And so I got together with some other bloggers and activists, and we agreed we've got to come up with an award and for exuberant, overachieving lawmen who don't even have the good sense to be persistent and consistent on it. Because, Eddie, I guarantee you how many buckskin jackets are at the mall, how many alligator boots are down at the boot shop. And I've never heard of them being raided. But the statute actually applies to all of that. Now, here's why it doesn't apply to this guy. He says, none of my roadkill came from Oklahoma.
Can you prove it, though?
Well, yeah, and that's the problem. Because our U.S. Constitution says it's the burden of proof is upon the state.
Thank you. That's it.
And now they're saying, no, you've got to prove our case for us.
But the problem again is, does he want to risk going to court and facing the possible? Yeah. See, this in our courts, this is what's so scary about it, that our courts now, with these judges that we have, it's a crapshoot. You just never know.
Yeah.
As we talked about a couple of weeks ago out in western Oklahoma, that case with the state rep. It's sad. I mean, David, it's sad. We talk about national stuff all the time. And what's going on in D.C. We've got trouble right here in River City.
Yeah.
Right? We've got trouble right here that someone needs to do something about. And some of these state reps that we have need to get off their butts and start doing something.
And I don't think the cameras were rolling last week when we had a state legislative candidate, Paul Hassinkin. But I did say to him, I said, I will champion the cause and praise and laud the feats of the first lawmaker that says, you know what? Before I write a bill, I'm going to spend a whole session writing legislation that just strikes whole parts of our statutory code. Because this law doesn't need to be there. Now, the law was written in 1974. It was written to protect endangered species at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're taking it to the same game.
It always does. And again, I mean, you know the answer, but I'm going to ask a stupid, redundant question here. You know what this is all about. Money.
Money? Power?
Power.
Right.
Because here's my first question, okay? What is a game warden doing at a swap meet?
Yes.
Why is he not out? Why is he not out hunting down poachers?
Yeah.
And people out in the field that are actually doing it. It gets back to remember on trespassing on people's land that we were talking about, I think it was last week or week before. Yeah. That Nathan Dahm.
Yeah, the bill Nathan Dahm has. But because game wardens say, if I hear a firearm discharged, I have probable cause to go on your land, not only go on your land, but go in your barns, your machinery sheds, all of that.
Yeah.
And search all of it.
Yeah.
Because the game belongs to the state. That's why Nathan Dahm wrote that bill that simply says the wildlife belongs to God. It was the funniest thing. I've been talking to this guy, Dean Summers, and he just told me today, he said, 3 Karens in Oklahoma City tipped off the game warden. You've got to come take this guy's thing.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah, it was an outdoor swap meet.
So that's what it was. So these Karens, apparently and apologies to my daughter-in-law. so three Karens who apparently and obviously thought that he probably killed these poor animals. Mm-hmm. You know, they never assumed it was roadkill. I'm sure they didn't believe that story.
Right.
He killed these poor innocent creatures. Mm-hmm. And so that's probably why.
Yeah, I can see PETA doing this.
Yeah, but here's the other thing on that too. Well, if it was PETA, yeah, I could imagine that, because I can't believe just some woman, an Oklahoma woman, mm-hmm. being upset because she saw some skulls at a swap meet. Mm-hmm. I can't picture that. So
yeah, but according to the law, the folks that sell bone-handled knives, I got my, hunting knife that is an antler handle, buckskin jackets, because that comes from deer wildlife, alligator skin boots, all of that. It's all illegal.
Probably what he should have done, and I guarantee you anybody in the future that comes to Oklahoma or anything like that will get an affidavit signed by a district attorney or some law official in other towns making the rounds in those towns that they have checked this was, brought to them by this person and sworn before them that it was gotten at this place or this place or this place. Yeah. And that way then, if they try, here are sworn affidavits by this person, this person, this person, go eat dirt.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Well, he could just make something up. But if he's got it written.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying, but if he's done it, because if he's traveling from state to state, he's done it in other states. He's not even from here.
Yeah.
And he can show that I've been in these other states, and this is where, I've not been in Oklahoma. How am I going to gather all of this stuff from Oklahoma when I'm from, Kentucky?
Yeah.
And, in fact, that may be what he does. Have a DNA. Say, I'm going to get a DNA test. I'm going to make you pay for it, and because you have to prove that it's from Oklahoma, and make the state of Oklahoma pay for the DNA test, and then they find, no, I'm sorry, this is a Kentucky raccoon.
Yeah,
this raccoon variety is not from Oklahoma. And you better give him his raccoon back.
The problem is the way the law is written. The burden is on him to have all the documentation on his entire stock of artwork. Yeah. And I've got to say this.
Don't you love these discussions we have?
Yeah. Speaking of our lawmakers, you know that in the U.S. Constitution, there is nothing about political parties in there, right? Political parties just kind of came after that.
Right.
In Oklahoma, which wrote our Constitution, in 2007, there were already plenty of political parties come and gone. And still, we don't really talk about that. But what we did authorize is in the legislature and in Congress for them to make their own rules to run their chamber, right? And so what you've got is in a majority party that's just part of the Senate, and our Oklahoma Republicans in the Senate actually have 3 factions. And Greg Treat right now has got more power than probably any Speaker Pro Temp has, or President Pro Temp, I should say. He is being challenged right now by Rob Standridge. And I'm like, go Rob, because Greg Treat has had some of the worst tyrannical rule of that Senate. And it's time. Now, Rob's only got 2 more years to serve, just like Nathan Dahm. And I was actually expecting Nathan Dahm maybe to speak up and do this, but I can definitely support Rob Standridge. He's from down near Norman area, and he was good friends with Gary Stanislawski from Tulsa. So anyway, that's just a little bit inside baseball news in the legislature. But that's what's going on. And
not long.
Oh, I did go get my signs, my yard signs, down at the Republican headquarters, and they're going fast. I went down there. Paul Hassink was down there stocking them up again for his. But get a yard sign, put it in your yard until election morning, then take it down 300 feet from the polling box and put it down there on election day. Make full use of it.
Which sign?
I've got Governor Stitt, Ryan Walters. I've got Kevin Hearn. Those are the three that I was able to get that I'm in their jurisdiction.
Right.
There are plenty others.
Good.
So,
well, good.
Yep.
You heard it.
Yep.
So,
Republican headquarters.
yeah,
They're down at the State Fair. If you're at the State Fair this weekend, you'll see them. We've moved to the upper level, much bigger.
Yeah, we really need to support the governor because all the money that is going against him. Mm-hmm. And if Oklahoma were to elect the other person, whose name I can't even. I mean, it's unthinkable. I honestly do not believe we would do that. But should we do that? It's just unthinkable. But we must reelect Governor Stitt. Mm-hmm. We're not being paid. I'm not being paid, and we don't make any money here, so don't worry about campaign contributions or anything like that. So nobody makes any money, exchanges any money or anything like that. But it's just for the sake of our state. For the sake of our state, we really need to stay red. We need to remain a red state to give all the support we can. Because these are perilous times, everybody. That's how we began the program, and we need to end with that, to let people know that these are not times to be asleep. Let's put it that way, asleep at the wheel. We must wake up, and for future generations, I always say I'm at an age now where I'm counting down, okay? I think I've got maybe, I look at 100 as the goal line, and I've got 29 years to go. So I want to make these 29 years count for something, and just cannot see my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, whatever, leaving them a worse off world than I got to grow up in. I've had a great life. I've had a wonderful time and seen a lot of really incredible things, and I want to see them have that too. And that's why we do this. That's why Dave and I do this.
Yeah.
We don't make any money here, and we just do it because we really want to see the truth exposed, come out, and we hope that you'll enjoy it and that you'll pass it on, okay? So anyway, that's it for another week, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week. Tomorrow, we can say, go Sooners. Dave can say, go Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. They're taking on his Red Raiders.
I've got to say, guns up, Raiders. This is not pistols firing. This is the original guns up for Texas Tech Red Raiders, who are playing the OSU Cowboys tomorrow. So I'll be a Cowboy fan again next week, but for tomorrow, I've got to stay true to my school. So, hey, God bless everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to us, okay? We'll see you next week.
And they'll never see together.